If you're living with diabetes and using insulin, you know the pain of pricking your fingers over and over again. By wearing a small remote device called a continuous glucose monitor or CGM, you can reduce the pain of pricking your fingers right away. If you're testing your blood sugar 4 or more times per day, injecting insulin 3 or more times per day, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetic Health Hotline today.
800-712-8002. That's 800-712-8002. Paid for by U.S. Med.
Hi, this is Vince Van Patten. You're listening to TV Confidential.
To reiterate, Ted, in terms of the traffic problems in this area, I can't begin to tell you what the magnitude of those problems will be with the collapse of a section of the Bay Bridge.
But Robert, just a reminder that the next edition of TV Confidential will premiere next week on this station at the usual time. Our guests will include James Dumont of HBO's The Righteous Gemstones and Robert Clohessy of CBS's Blue Bloods. We hope you join us for that. In the meantime, Tony Figueroa and Donna Allen are with us as we remember how television news covered the Loma Prieta earthquake that occurred near San Francisco on October 17, 1989. A tragic event that, among other things, interrupted the start of Game 3 of the World Series that year between the San Francisco Giants and the Oakland A's, and put the World Series itself in limbo for 10 days.
When you're looking at, from the broadcasting standpoint, I remember just coming home, coming to my friend's apartment, and we must have been glued to the TV until about 2 in the morning because we're watching San Francisco, get darker. There were places without power. Just seeing what is happening there because we have friends that are up there. And when you're living in earthquake country, you're kind of looking at, this could have been us. But just to watch how, the local news people are coming in and bringing everyone up to speed as best as they can. Yeah. Just as well as they can, and knowing that when the sun comes up tomorrow morning, we're going to be exposed to a certain reality. And we were seeing, like beautiful buildings completely wrecked, and we were seeing people in the streets, and I used when I did stand up, I had a whole 20-minute routine just on earthquakes living in California, and I remember around midnight when we're watching, and I had tried unsuccessfully to incorporate it into the stand-up routine. But when, you get somebody from City Hall coming over, he's reading off of a card, this is what the status of public transportation is. And he's saying, because of the earthquake, the BART system will not be running. Our trolley systems are not going to be running. Taxi cabs are going to be dispatched for emergency use only, but the ferries will be running in San Francisco. And after watching this for several hours, we're in our friend's apartment going... And we're watching like police officers standing behind this guy going, just got, just to have, that one moment of seriousness after all of these hours. And then, the morning after, I went to the Red Cross to donate blood. Mm-hmm. The place was packed. The Red Cross in Burbank, overflowing, line outside, Red Cross handing letters of apology to everybody. We appreciate what you're doing. We are so sorry. We don't have enough seats. Yeah. We want your... And I am there with a plumbing contractor whose plan is to give blood, and he got his team. They said, we're going to put our current job on hold. We're putting all the equipment that we have in our truck, and we're driving up there as soon as we're done giving blood. Just because there were gas lines and water lines that needed to be shut down, and they just needed those services getting up there to take care of everything. I mean, it was really amazing the amount of people that just could not wait to get up there and help with the rebuild process.
Yeah, no, it's one of those moments where it's encouraging because deep down it shows you that people are good. Yeah. Inherently good. I mean, I know there are people who disagree with me, but it just shows that there's a natural instinct to want to help in a crisis like that.
Yeah. And it was two of the local anchors. I think it was at that time Tawny Little, and who was a reporter who was for Channel 7, an ABC affiliate. She was doing a morning talk show here, AM Los Angeles, and I think it was Steve Edwards who was her co-host at the time. They pretty much suspended their regular show, and they were just doing a call-in because there were so many new arrivals to L.A. who had never experienced an earthquake. And even though it didn't happen in L.A., it was close enough.
United, Southwest, there are people making that, all the time.
Yeah, and so there were people who are, let's say new Californians, California transplants, and not natives, and so many people were just so petrified because
we were scared to death.
Yeah, it's like
I read.
You were a new arrival.
I had been here for about four years at that time, but it never experienced anything major, and that pretty much freaked me out.
Yeah, just to get that dose of reality.
I mean, the first earthquake I felt here, it was. I wouldn't even blink today, but I was ready to hop on a plane. I learned everything I could about earthquakes and preparedness. And are you ever really ready? No. But I felt I had a little more knowledge on my side.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I think everyone down here in the local media really put emphasis on preparedness. This is what you need to do. But like I said, there were people who just moved to L.A. who had no friends, no family, and they would be calling up the radio talk shows. But I remember AM Los Angeles especially just scared to death that had no friends. And they said, "We're your friends today.
Yeah.
You're going to stay on the line until you feel comfortable." And they just listened to this one woman until she calmed down. Yeah. I mean, it was like watching Suicide Hotline, extreme circumstances.
It's kind of like, going back to, the program we did on 9/11. I mean, in moments like that, the media can be your best friend, your only friend.
Yeah. True source of information.
A true source of information.
Yeah. And at the same time, just to be fair and balanced, or all things equal, I remember the Whittier earthquake. CBS News opened with "Death and Destruction Hits Los Angeles," and the city of LA was so upset with Dan Rather at the point. Now 7 people died, not to diminish that, not compared to a lot more in San Francisco at that time, 63 people, but still, the idea that we're trying to convey to our relatives on the other side of the country, we're okay,
we're fine.
Yeah.
Don't worry, I was in bed and then for them to get the news reports that want to sensationalize what had happened. I think because that happened about 2 years before Loma Prieta. Yeah. I think the news broadcasters knew they were much more sensitive that they were speaking to an international audience reporting the news, but they were speaking to relatives. San Francisco, LA is full of transplants, and you can't have mom and dad on the farm or the rest of the family on the East Coast hearing things like that when they could not hear directly from the family members.
Exactly. No, there is. If it bleeds, it leads aside. There is a sense of responsibility that one should follow in broadcasting.
And it's and you go to San Francisco now, it is a beautiful city, and it's you would never know what happened, but those days were just amazing, just to watch. And the one piece of footage that just sticks in my head is somebody had a video camera on the Bay Bridge, and you see this car driving, and it just drops out of sight because you didn't realize the camera angle. You didn't realize there's a hunk of the road that is now gone,
pancaked.
And even when you are driving, you couldn't see it. Yeah, it was on the previous level, and the car is just moving forward and drops, and it looks almost cartoonish, like an Ernie Kovacs type sketch or something like that. That it just dropped out of sight and it was gone, and that made the play, and it also made people over here assess freeway situations and. And reinforce, and so we learned a lot from
this. This is a side. At the time, the Giants were lobbying for a new stadium. This is 15 years before they finally succeeded in getting a new stadium built. That stadium, the stadium currently known as Oracle Park. There was a ballot initiative for a publicly funded sports stadium. And the mayor at the time, Art Agnos, was behind the plan. And there had been previous initiatives like this in the past that never succeeded, but this plan looked like it was going to pass. All the pre-election polls were indicating, this is 10 days before the election. About 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks before the election. And then, the earthquake happened, and Agnos was doing his job as mayor of the city and just overlooking disaster areas and stuff like that. He did, and again, he made a choice, and he did not push that as much as some people thought he would have. Come election day, the initiative was defeated. Some people blame the earthquake for that, but that's and again, that's just one of those illogical things. Some people say that Agnos lost his chances of being reelected because he paid attention to the needs of those affected by the earthquake versus the ballpark initiative or stuff like that. I mean, there are people who believe that. It just goes back to sometimes being a leader really means doing what is best for all, even if it's unpopular.
Yeah, making those unpopular decisions.
Childhoodtelevision.blogspot.com, childhoodtelevision.blogspot.com, also storysalon.com. Donna's 4-part novel series is now complete.
Yes, it is. The last book, Fall Again Reunion, was published a few months ago. You'll see where the story finally ends.
And to find out how the story begins and end, go to fallagainseries.com. Tony and Donna, we'll see you both next time.
Next time.
Stay with us, folks. We'll be right back.
If you haven't been listening to TV Confidential, this is who you're missing.
Connie Stevens, Dawn Wells,
Eric Braden,
Tony Camille,
Jansen Williams, Don Most, Troy Finnis, Peter Marshall,
Sherry Alberoni,
George Slaughter,
Dan Castellaneta,
Taylor Hicks,
Lindsay Wagner,
Loretta Swett,
And many, many more of your favorite celebrities and people behind the scenes in the world of television. That's TV Confidential. Every week on this station and every day online at televisionconfidential.com. Alexa users, you can now listen to TV Confidential on your smart speaker by just saying, Alexa, play TV Confidential. Enabling our Alexa skill is easy. To find out how, go to televisionconfidential.com/Alexa.
This portion of TV Confidential is sponsored by Uber. Enter the promo code TV Confidential, all one word, when you download the app at get.uber.com/go/TV Confidential, and you'll receive a free first ride up to $20.
Hi, this is Robert Hooks, and you are listening to TV Confidential, and keep doing it.
Ed Robertson with a reminder that Ed Asner will be bringing his new play, God Help Us, to various cities in the U.S. and Canada throughout October, including Billings, Montana, and Nova Scotia, Canada. To learn more about God Help Us, to find out how to book the play at a playhouse near you, go to godhelpus.net. Ed is also bringing his critically acclaimed one-man show, A Man and His Prostate, to various cities in the U.S. and Canada throughout October and November, including Nova Scotia, Canada, St. John, New Brunswick, Canada, Irvine, California, Millbrook, Alabama, and Marietta, Georgia. For more information on these and other dates, go to amanandhisprostate.com, amanandhisprostate.com. You can follow Ed Asner on Twitter at the only Ed Asner. Also a reminder that West End, an original movie starring Peter Onorati and Eric Roberts and directed by Joe Basile, West End is available for viewing on demand on Amazon Prime, iTunes, Google Play, and Vudu. It will also be screened on Saturday, October 5th as part of the Highland Park Film Festival in Los Angeles. For more information, westendthemovie.com, westendthemovie.com. You can follow Peter Onorati on Twitter at Peter Onorati and on Instagram at Peter.Onorati. Onorati. Finally, a reminder that Jeff Abraham and Burt Kearns will be appearing at the dearly departed Artifact Museum in Hollywood, California on Saturday, October 19th, and at the Stories Books and Cafe in Echo Park, California on Tuesday, October 22nd. For more information on these and other events, go to theshowwon'tgoon.com. The Show Won't Go On, the most striking, bizarre, and historic deaths of performers on stage, is available through Chicago Review Press. It is available in bookstores everywhere. You can also order The Show Won't Go On at Amazon.com, wherever books are sold online. That'll do it for our program this week, folks. Ed Robertson, Baffa, Tony Figueroa, Donna Allenfield, Grace Greg, Airbar, and our producer, Chris Corman. Thank you so much for listening. We will talk to you next time on TV Confidential.